Welcome back to that God Power channel. This is the channel where we're going to unlock the God Power land dormant on the inside of you. And we're going to continue on with our marathon of Revelation. We're going to break down the book of Revelation, chapter 13 today. So last time we did chapter 12, and it was about the woman giving birth and the dragon ready to devour, and all those things happened in chapter 12. You should go back and watch it if you didn't watch it. But moving on to chapter 13, let's jump into it and see what happens here, because this is getting really, really intense. Like, there's a lot of things going on in this book. So let's jump in. So chapter 13 says like this. It starts like this. Then I saw a beast rising about the sea. So remember, the devil had just planted his feet on the sea, like he's standing on the shore. And then he's like, then I saw a beast rising out the sea. He had 7 heads and 10 horns, with 10 crowns on its horns. And written on each head were names that blaspheme God. This beast looked like a leopard, but it had the feet of a bear and the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave the beast his own power and throne and great authority. So there's this beast that kind of looks like the dragon that comes out. It has the same kind of like build as the dragon that comes out of the sea. And the devil gave this beast that authority. He said, verse 3 says, I saw that one of the heads of the beast seemed wounded beyond recovery, but the fatal wound was healed. The whole world marveled at this miracle and gave allegiance to the beast. They worshipped the dragon for giving the beast such power, and they also worshipped the beast. Who is as great as the beast? They exclaimed. Who is able to fight against him? Now this is weird because, I mean, it's not weird because of the world we live in, but from my perspective, it's weird. Why would you give allegiance to this beast because you've seen miracles? Like, you've read about all these miracles of Jesus. You don't give your allegiance to, like, people are so quick to give their allegiance to something, and they don't know what it is. So, let's go on. These people are worshiping the dragon. They're worshiping the devil for giving the beast such power. This is crazy. So it says, then the beast was allowed to speak great blasphemies against God, and he was given authority to do whatever he wanted for 42 months. And he spoke terrible words of blasphemy against God, slandering his name and his dwelling, that is, those who dwell in heaven. And the beast was allowed to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. And he was given authority to rule over every tribe and every people, every language, and every nation. And all the people who belong to this world worshipped the beast. They are the ones whose names were not written in the book of life that belongs to the Lamb who was slaughtered before the world was made. So that last sentence was kind of powerful. It said the Lamb was slaughtered before the world was made, meaning the fate of Jesus that as we know it, that already happened before the world was made. The Lamb was slaughtered. That was done. So a lot of things are not as we think they are. And you have to open your mind up when reading this book. So in verse 9 it says, anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. Anyone who is destined for prison will be taken to prison. Anyone who is destined to die by the sword will die by the sword. This means that God's holy people must endure persecution patiently and remain faithful. So it's like, hey, whatever has to happen, you gotta do what you gotta do. And if you're God's people, then you just gotta patiently endure, meaning that you're gonna go through some stuff at these times if you're here, and you just gotta endure it patiently endure it. Persecution, just remain faithful. That's the instructions. In verse 11, it says, John says, then I saw another beast come out the earth. He had 2 horns like those of a lamb, but he spoke with the voice of a dragon. He exercised all the authority of the first beast, and he required all the earth and his people to worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed. So this person is making other people, like the people of the earth, worship the first beast. He did astounding miracles, even making fire flash down to the earth from the sky while everybody was watching. And with all the miracles he was allowed to perform on the behalf of the first beast, he deceived all the people who belonged to this world. He ordered the people to make a great statue of the first beast, who was fatally wounded and then came back to life. So he ordered the people to make a great statue of this first beast that, this guy, whoever this guy is like the little sidekick of the beast. Like, this is weird, man. This is some crazy stuff. So he makes a statue. He orders the people to make a statue of the beast, right? And then he was then permitted to give life to the statue so that it could speak. Then the statue of the beast commanded that anyone refusing to worship it must die. So the helper of the beast gave life to the statue of the beast that was built by the people. And now the statue of the beast is saying, if you don't worship me, you're going to die. That's crazy. Okay. He required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or the forehead. And no one could buy or sell without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. Wisdom is needed here. Let the one with understanding solve the meaning of the number of the beast, for it's a number of a man. His number is 666. So if you have the wisdom to understand it, you can solve it. But at this point, I don't know. I don't know personally, and that's something I have to pray for, like maybe the discernment to understand it. But yeah, there's a couple things that we should break down in that last paragraph. He required everybody to get the mark on their right hand or their forehead, and no one could buy. Now remember, this is the beast helper, the one who breathed life into that statue. He's the same guy who's requiring everybody to get a mark on their hand. Now, when they say horns and heads, a lot of times they talk about places and nations and kings, and right. So let's go back over this chapter real quick and think about it. So the first beast, it came out the earth, or this beast right here, the beast helper, it came out the earth. He had 2 horns like those of a lamb, and he spoke with the voice of a dragon. So it was the devil, some kind of voice of the dragon, the devil, and then 2 horns. So maybe 2 strongholds, 2 nations, or 2 leaders, right? Who knows? But just keep your mind thinking like that throughout this chapter, because that seems to be the kind of workings. But if you can also solve that mystery of anything of the 666, put that in the comments, because I don't know what that could mean. And it says, if you have the understanding, it says wisdom is needed here. Let the one with understanding solve the meaning. So somebody can solve it. Somebody has the wisdom. Put in the comments below. Thanks, because that's the end of chapter 13. So on the next chapter, we're going to break down chapter 14, and I hope you join me, because it's getting really interesting here. And I hope you learned something from chapter 13 as well. But most importantly, I hope that you remember that you
Tapping the source, in the vibe.